Recent cold blast has caused havoc for millions of Americans this week. Near record low temperatures and a so-called bomb cyclone closed highways, also roads and an airport. But it also inspired some clever creations and crazy acts.
Who needs a thermometer to answer the age-old question, how cold is it? Cold enough for the Calgary Zoo to temporarily bring its penguins indoors before letting them out again. Cold enough to freeze a shark. At least 3 of them were found washed up on Cape Cod, likely stranded due to cold shock, noted the Atlantic White Shark Conservancy. They had to be thawed to be autopsied. A true shark sickle. How cold is it? Not cold enough at 6 below to deter a guy dressed as a banana from water skiing on the Mississippi, but definitely cold enough to generate internet memes. I'm not going outside until the temperature is above my age. Remember this trick from previous cold snaps? Turning boiling water instantly into snow is so last year. This is the year of
frozen bubbles.
Craig Bain created a perfect specimen at a temperature of minus 31 degrees Fahrenheit. In Saskatchewan, Canada, it has all the allure of a fragile homemade snow globe with over 4 million views.
It's crazy.
There's pretty much one basic recipe for making ice bubbles, and it doesn't involve using that store-bought bubble-blowing stuff. Another Canadian who has helped whip up hashtag Bubble Madness recommends warm water, corn syrup, dishwashing soap, and sugar. The corn syrup, what does it do?
It basically hardens it, gives it a little bit of structure, otherwise they just blow away.
And if you really want a snow globe effect, add a Christmas tree. So when the temperatures dip, just dip your straw and
start blowing.
Yeah, so speaking of cold, in this story the twins Daniel and Samuel live on a little island just off South Carolina, and that's a place that's considered basically tropical because they get smashed in that story, totally smashed by a hurricane. But of course that part of America can sometimes turn cold, and indeed it did. They had the 3rd biggest dump of snow in that area in history from the event that's just happened, Winter Storm Grayson. And it has inspired me because I've made a prophecy for twins like Daniel and Samuel in this story. Twins hell-bent on destruction. And you know what's weird? You know what's really weird? Because I had a partner visa knocked back recently by Immigration and Border Protection, who are kind of not known for having a very good sense of humour or a very good sense of humanity, which is sort of like Daniel in this story. He doesn't really have a sense of humour. Samuel describes Daniel as being just strange, which is a bit like that department, Immigration and Border Protection in Australia, headed up by a guy named Peter Dutton, who is not a very nice guy. And I did say when I made my application that if you guys betray my trust, I'm going to make a prophecy against you. And that's what I'm doing. My prophecy is for twin hurricanes. And people say, well, twin cyclones, as we call them in Australia, tropical cyclones. And people say, well, why would you do that? Why would you bring twin cyclones and wreak destruction on innocent people because you don't like Immigration and Border Protection and you don't like Peter Dutton? And it's like, do you really think I have the power to make hurricanes? I mean, Samuel in this story has the power to make fire with his eyes. And today is Sunday, the 7th of January 2018. And today is the day that I flagged as a day when there would be twin signs in the weather to do with fire. And if I press play again,
Just some breaking news now, and an emergency warning has been issued for a fire burning in Winton in Victoria's northeast. The grass fire is currently burning out of control along Coach Road in Winton. Authorities warn it is now too late to leave and residents should seek shelter indoors immediately. It's time now for your Fox Sports update.
And yesterday it was Dark Island in South Australia. these twins are from a dark island, or from an island that turns dark after the hurricane comes. So what is my prophecy? Well, my prophecy is for Riley and Savannah, twin tropical cyclones that are going to come on Friday, the 9th of March, 2018. Can't go back in time. Can't go back a year. 2018. So Riley and Savannah, Friday, 9th of March. That's actually the birthday of my partner. The guy I would have been with had our application being approved as it should have been. I didn't really think it would be though, because Australia's Department of Immigration and Border Protection is headed up by a guy who doesn't exactly look very favourably on same-sex relationships. In fact, he tried to stop same-sex marriage. He did his best, but his plan blew up in his face. A bit like a party popper at a gay wedding, really. Blew up in his face. And the Postal Survey actually brought back a yes vote. So that's something I'm actually really grateful for to Australians. And I would not wish destruction on Australians at all. But a prophecy is simply telling people it's going to happen. There's going to be twin hurricanes, twin cyclones, Riley and Savannah. Which one's going to be bad? I would say Riley will be the bad one. Daniel's the evil twin in this story. I would say Riley will be the evil one simply because the name Riley has the same value as red rain. If you add up the letters in the name Riley, it has the same value as red rain, 69. So I think Riley. But I think Savannah will happen at the same time. And that's my prediction, that's my prophecy which I'm making against all the hypocritical, nasty, discriminating adults in the world. And I'm sort of using Peter Dutton as a good example of the kind of person I'm talking about. Did you notice the little devil in the video? I was going to mention that. I did. See? There's a little devil. There. And that kind of fits. So there's a few things that fit. Just before, like if I press rewind for a while, you'll find there was a story going back a bit on arsonists. I might be able to find it, I'll see. It goes back a way though. So we'll see if I can find it. But there was 2 stories about arsonists just in the previous hour. Here's one of them. So that was on a girl, the 15-year-old that's been charged with lighting the fire in Victoria yesterday. So there's one arsonist, a news story on an arsonist. Samuel is a boy who can light fires just with his mind. He has pyrokinesis. He can light fires just with his mind. And here's the other story coming up. It's just before this. And the boys in this story, Daniel and Samuel, are 11. And here we go. We've got burning cars in Iran, because that's what people do during a protest. They set things on fire. And rioters like to burn things. And here we go. Here's the other story. The first story that I saw today. And I said there were going to be twin volcanoes erupt today. But maybe what it is it's the twin stories about arsonists, and then the emergency.
To some breaking news
warning.
Now, and an 11-year-old boy has been charged in relation to 2 fires in Western Australia. The fires occurred on Thursday at Northman in the Goldfield region east of Perth. One of the fires burnt a large area of lawn and various sundry items. The other was started in a toilet block. The boy will appear in court on January 23.
So yeah, I did say to immigrate, and there is corruption in government too. This story just before this was about a US senator. Actually, it's not this story. It's going back this way. So you got the Iran protests. And then there's a story on the other side of this story about a US senator and former judge who had people make some allegations against him. And this lady was one of them. And what happened to her? Her house got burnt down. So that's what this story's about.
Gonna go with what they say. Johnson is among multiple women who accused former judge and Senate candidate Roy Moore of sexual misconduct.
It was hard. It was embarrassing. It was hard on my family. It's been hard on me. But things died down. Things were getting back to normal. We were getting back to good. Life was good. And then this happened.
So like I said to immigration, I said, I'm sick of having my trust betrayed by adults, by authorities, and I warned them that if they betrayed my trust with my application, which was over 1,000 pages of information that we provided, that I said, I'm going to make a prophecy against you, and you will be sorry. And I meant it. It wasn't an empty threat. It was a promise. A promise backed up by Jacob Wetterling and Nathan Breeze. Nathan Breeze, who died in the firestorms on Black Saturday, 2009. And Nathan does not like Peter Dutton either, because he doesn't like people who make jokes about climate change. Nathan had a fantastic sense of humour, but his sense of humour doesn't extend so far as to think that someone who makes jokes about climate change is funny, or especially, you can make jokes about climate change all you want if you're not a climate change denier. I guess that's the point. So yeah, I've got Nathan's backing, I've got Jake's backing, I've got the backing of Ebony Simpson too. I had some really amazing stuff happen on her birthday. And I know this is true. And I'm really grateful to Australia for voting for same-sex marriage. I think it's fantastic that they did. And this prediction is not a prediction against Australians. This is to help Australians. It's to help people. Because if you know, listen, this is something you need to watch out for. It's good. But if you don't know, it can take you by surprise and it can kill you. That's what happened to Nathan and his mum and his 2 sisters and a lot of other people on Black Saturday. So, no, you shouldn't. You should never, ever, ever make jokes about something that you're actively being in denial of when it's killing people. So that's Nathan's little bone that he has to pick with Peter Dutton, and that's why I'm saying this prophecy is against certain hypocritical attitudes amongst humans, basically. It's not just adults, it's just hypocrites in general are not the nicest of people.